something to think about to help your cats live longer, healthier, happier lives. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And together we are the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. Guys, it's hot outside.
Whoa.
It is so friggin' hot, okay? And so today we wanted to talk about how to keep your cats cool in the heat. Many of us are blessed enough to have working air conditioning units, although I know many of you guys, we've heard from many of you guys, as we have in the past, lost our air conditioning units because it's working so hard to try to keep us cool. But many of us don't. And many of you beautiful, beautiful cat lovers actually care for cats that are outside in this heat. And you give them safe spaces like your garage or shed to be able to
shady spots.
Yeah, to be able to get away from the heat during the day. But we have some tips for you on how to help your cats keep cool. Or if you live in a place where you just don't have air conditioning, right? There are many things. Go ahead.
Okay. So here's the thing. You can hear us over. Poor Madison, we forgot about. Okay, so while we're all enjoying plenty of perspiration this hot summertime, sweating a lot, our cats don't perspire. So we want to be aware of what it looks like if our cats are getting heat fatigue, heat stroke, that sort of thing. Lethargy is one of those things. Losing their balance, being a little off kilter, the glazed eyes, rapid heart rate, and panting. We think, oh, well, dogs pant when they're hot. Cats
will pant too.
Can pant too. No, even when it's warm out, a panting cat, that is not a normal thing for cats to do.
Yes.
Every now and then they'll have a little perspiration on their paw pads, teeny bits, but by and large, their coat helps keep them cool, which is why you may notice your kitty grooming themselves a little bit more. So tip number one.
Yes, actually tip number one, so I can get this out of the way, is if you guys have fans, right? So obviously if you guys don't have air conditioning, you're probably running a fan at some point. This helps to circulate the air and will also help keep your kitties cool. So if they're in the garage, if they're in the shed, if they're in your house, have an area where you have like a little box fan. We got this one on Amazon for our shop, our garage. But if you, if you can just get a little fan, obviously it's a pretty no-brainer. Everybody knows that. But if you don't have one, or maybe you forget that you have one and you can turn it on to help the kitties, please do.
Yes. Number two, and we'll get to the one I was actually thinking of in a minute. Number two is helping our cats with their coats. So brushing and making sure, as the weather gets warmer, they will blow their winter coats. And so if we can help kind of get rid of that fur as soon as possible, that'll help. That'll also help them with their using their coats to regulate their body temperature.
Yeah, absolutely. And cut back on the hairballs that they might get from trying to overgroom themselves to keep themselves cool, right?
Yes.
Which is another thing that we can do. I don't think we have this in order, but and it's kind of going together well. Do you like that?
I think it's working.
Another thing that we can do is use a damp, cool cloth and wipe them down, right? So if you're like, oh wow, they're getting really hot, we can rub them down or just wipe them down gently with a cool cloth that will help to regulate their body temperature as well. Now, Adrian taught me this many years ago when I lived in France for a little while. And as many of you guys from Europe know, there's not a whole lot of options for AC units for air conditioning everywhere in Europe. And there wasn't in my apartment. So she was like, just take, and I was there in the dead of summer, of course. So she was like, just take a cloth, get it wet, and wipe your arms down, wipe your neck down, wipe behind your ears. These areas, it actually does help regulate our body temperature as well. So if we need to do it for our kitties, let's do it for our kitties.
And that is what kind of is simulating their grooming. They're getting a little bit of moisture on their coat, so that helps cool them up. So they need a little extra help.
Now, obviously, and this is especially important if you don't have AC, but especially important for cats that you're feeding outside or in your garage where it's really, really hot. We want to put some ice in their water, right? So you're giving them a water bowl. Let's put ice in that water. It'll help to keep that water cool. If they're outside, it's probably going to melt pretty fast, but it's going to stay cooler longer, which, consuming a little bit of cool water versus warm water will also help. Yeah, hot water will help keep them cool as well.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to try to give them, I know you guys on TikTok can't quite see this, but nice little cool hidey boxes that you can put in a nice shaded area in your home. And that is a nice place for them to cool out. Zorro, I don't know if you can see him. Zorro is in there right now.
Yeah, as soon as we put it up here, he jumped in and he's like, this is my spot.
Yeah.
He's also warm today because it's very hot and humid, mind you, which we don't usually get here in the desert, but it is humid today. So our babies are a bit overheated as well. Not overheated as in actually overheated, but warmer than usual. So he's finding this cool box. So this is free, right? You all have a box in your house, or you're having deliveries and there's going to be a box somewhere. You can take these boxes, put them in cool areas of the house. So if that's under a desk somewhere where the light isn't hitting directly from the windows, somewhere, where it's kind of a cool shaded area where they can go, or outdoor kitties, or in your garage, places like that where they can go and just lay down and stay a bit cooler.
Closing our blinds or windows also really helps, especially if you've got the sun beating down in one part of your house during the day and you're going to be gone. Go ahead, just close those blinds during the day just to keep that extra heat out. And that's where the little boxes can help.
And I know a lot of us like to be able to keep a window open while we're gone so our cats can have their cat TV, right? I think that's a great idea. If you do have an area where the sun isn't going to be directly hitting, go ahead and open just a little bit of that, but have plenty of other areas where the windows are closed, where they can get a relaxation and relief from the heat, for sure. She wants to play with it. Do you see her? She's so cute. You want the ice?
You want the ice?
She's like, oh, I want ice.
So, and we went through this where we had, when our house broke, we didn't have temperature control in our home, right? We take that for granted. So something that can be really helpful is not just putting ice in their water bowls, but if you don't have the ice packs or a water bottle that you can't freeze.
Yeah, you can use this. You can use anything in your freezer, really. Anything that's frozen. You can use ice like this. You can use a bag of peas. You can use a frozen water bottle. Really works well. Or if you have those frozen things, just put it in here and wrap it. Put it in a bag or just by itself. Wrap it in a thin towel, right? And then you can put that next to where your baby is sleeping and like near their bed. And that will be like, it's like air conditioning for them, right? So it's a small unit, but they're small animals. And this is going to help to regulate their body temperature as well.
Okay. So we already talked about grooming to help keep those extra furs up and keep them cool. The ice, the cooling mats, you can actually buy cooling mats.
Yes.
We don't currently have one, but no. It exists, and some people really love them.
Yeah, a lot of people. We've actually had a lot of people tell us how great the cooling mats are, and that's great. I will. Oh, sorry, big girl. I will say another thing about the cooling mat is using color therapy. So blue is a great color that helps to, according to color therapy, helps to lower body temperature, right? So if your cat has a fever, if they're overheating, if it's super hot, give them a blue towel or a blue blanket somewhere that's obviously comfortable in the house. So many of our babies, since I laid this down, have come up and self-selected to lay on this because it's a hot day here. Yep. So they will lay on this. They will self-select to lay in an area on a color that is that's soothing to them at that time. But one of the really, really important things, guys, is feeding wet food. We want to make sure during these hot months that we are feeding our cats a moisture-rich diet. Dry food is going to contribute to dehydration, and it's going to contribute twice as fast if our cats are also super hot, right? So that's the issue with being hot is they can get dehydrated easily, especially as desert animals. But if we're also feeding them dry food, that's going to be twice as likely that they get dehydrated. So we want to feed a good moisture-rich diet for sure.
And let's think about our playtime. We've talked with so many people lately about the importance of play and how important it is when it comes to these super hot months. Let's see if we can put those playtimes into the AM or the PM and not the super hot part of the day. We know from experience that when we're running our babies around with a wand toy, they will get worn out a lot faster, and we've actually seen panting. So that is something that we
learn the hard way,
right.
And so we're telling you because if your cats are working extra hard to catch that prey during the heat of the day, they're going to be more likely to overheat, right, and start panting. So we want to do that, and then obviously. It's a PS. Everybody knows this. I'm sure you all know this, but we have to say it if we're talking about our cats overheating. Never, ever, 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 ever leave your cats alone in a car in the heat.
I know it seems like why would that even happen? But think about it. Think through. If you're on your way to the vet and you think, well, I could just run to the grocery store for a minute.
Don't.
I will cut you. I love you guys. Don't ever.
We love you so much. Thank you for joining us for Think About It Thursday. Guess what? We are about to meet with the youngest entrepreneur in the pet industry. 15-year-old, started 6 years ago, absolutely amazing business, and we are about to meet with her on our podcast, Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy
So
Cat
excited.
Ladies. It will be on Facebook and YouTube in about 20 minutes, so come join us. We love you guys so much.
Love y'all. Happy Thursday.